everyone. Today, I am with David Rahman. He's a speaker, author, and a coach, and above all, incredible human being. I'm having these conversations with him, and I find him quite positive. So today, we will talk about his recent book, Let It Go. What an interesting title. Thank you, David, for taking out time and being on my show.
Thank you. Thank you too. Really appreciate your time and having me on the show.
Yeah. So let's start with your book, Let It Go. The title is so interesting. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, the title is like a philosophy of life, really, Rahim. It's about not carrying baggage and not overthinking and not focusing on stuff that perhaps doesn't serve you. So when I've worked with clients almost for 20 years, they always had something to let go of. So it's something that I thought, right, it's very common. It's a very common occurrence.
Nice. So when you say like let it go, but like when we were growing up, we were always hearing that we should analyze the past, we should learn from the past, and now you are saying let it go. How do you keep a balance out of that?
Yeah, good question. I think with the past, you see, if you look at it from a timeline perspective, A, B, C, the A is the past, B is where we are right now today, and C is the future. And with the past, yeah, of course, we can learn from it. And letting go, really, Rahim, is the let go of the emotional charge of something which hurt you in the past. So if you were let down or disappointed, betrayed or something like that, and at the time it's very emotional, of course, and that's something that unless we let go of those emotions over time, we can carry it forward. So yeah, of course, I agree with you. It's about learning, and it's then about growing, appreciating what's happened, because that's a gift for us. That's a learning gift, and the letting go is the emotions we can let go of, and that's the difficult part.
If I'm getting it right, like we should not completely forget about the past. We should still learn it like logically or rationally, but it should not affect us emotional well-being.
Yeah.
Am I getting it right?
Yeah, let me give an example. I had a client once, and she went to a dinner party with her four of her friends. So there were five of them, and they'd known each other since they were 15 years old. So they'd known each other a long time because they were in their 50s. So they were having dinner that night, and the host, they were all ladies. The host, she was blaming, complaining, and moaning about her ex-husband. The only problem was they'd been divorced for 27 years.
Wow.
That's
27 years, damn.
yeah. So that's the thing. Like since that time, she hasn't been married. She's never gone into relationships because she's still carrying the anger and disappointment. So that's an example of where if she could have let go a long time ago, she could have been happier. Because sometimes when you hold on to stuff, that's the part that you haven't learned. Because for her, the learning could have been, okay, the relationship failed, but doesn't make me a bad person. Let's move on. So that's the part of the past letting go, that's the past bit.
One interesting point in your book is like I was reading and I found it like you say in your book that questions define the quality of life. Like how we are questioning ourselves, what kind of questions, like the questions will define our quality of life. That was so intriguing for me because like I'm always trying to talk to my clients, my audiences about quality of life. I'm also trying to struggle to understand what does that mean. And when I read that in your book, that questions define quality of life, and it makes sense actually in your book.
Yeah.
So could you give us an example to the audience, like what do you mean by that?
Yeah, of course. So if you just basically define thinking as a human being, we think by questions. So, for example, if somebody is an overthinker and they're lying there at night worrying, then the worries that they've had or they're thinking about could be about the past or the future. So, for example, they could be worrying about lying there thinking, am I going to find a partner? Am I going to get married one day? Is she going to turn up at the wedding? Is my business going to Is my business going to grow? Am I going to lose weight before the holiday? All these are questions, and these are like, they can work you up into a state if you ask the wrong questions. You could lie there at night thinking, oh, I'm going crazy with myself. Or it could be a question related to the past, Rahim, such as, why did I agree to that date? Why did I go into this with this person in business? If only I'd gone to university. Why didn't I go to university? So these kind of questions can take you down the wrong route. So that's what I was referring to with that part of the chapter. Questions to determine a quality of life. But you can ask a different sort of question. So you could ask, what can I learn from this? What's the gift in this? How can I serve the world better? What am I grateful for right now? So it's a different type of question and it's a different type of conversation, Ryan.
Nice. It's like what you ask yourself, you try to seek answers in those directions. And like those answers might be ugly or beautiful depending on the question you're asking. It's so beautiful concept.
Yes, it's there's a part of our brain called the Reticular Activating System, RAS, and it's located in a position where it's like your scanning device. So whenever you start thinking about something, you'll see more of it in life. So, for example, I've always talked to people about this analogy I love. When you buy a new car, like you buy, say, a Volkswagen Beetle, and suddenly you see the car everywhere, that same car. It's like, where did it come from? I thought I was the only one who had it in this color. And suddenly you see everywhere. It's because this part of your brain is switched on and it goes looking fundamentally for what it thinks you want. So if somebody's going to a party, a social engagement, and if they're asking themselves questions such as, how can I survive? Is anybody going to talk to me? Am I going to fit in? Am I going to be lonely? Your reticular activating system is going to bring you that reality where you're going to struggle at the party, So I remember working with a client, and she was, by society's standards, a very good-looking woman. However, she didn't think so. She thought she was ugly and no one would talk to her. And I said to her, just ask this one question when you go out with your boyfriend on the Friday night, I think it was. Ask yourself this question all day before you go out. How can I have fun? Is that one question? And I saw her a couple of weeks later for the next session, and she said, you won't believe it, David. I had the best night I've had for a long time because I was focused on how can I have fun?
Nice.
Have nice conversations with people. And fundamentally, as creatures of habit, happy, positive people tend to ask different questions about life. Whereas we all know a victim question is, why me?
Why me? Why did this happen to me? So I want to move on our discussion to a different part of your book, which is like confidence. Yes. One thing got stuck with me that you say that confidence does not have a volume button. Wow. How do you come up with that? Like in general, like when we see that person is speaking in front of 100 people,
yes,
that guy or that person is confident.
Yes.
If someone cannot speak, that person is not confident. What do you mean by that?
That's a great question. It's purely by observation and who I am as a person. I've noticed over the years that I've met lots of people who are not confident and lots of people who are confident. And what I mean by confidence doesn't have a volume, which means that you can be quiet and confident. You can be quite outspoken and loud and still be confident and actually genuinely confident. And then you've got another group of people who are quiet, but they're not confident. They really aren't. And or another people who are loud, but deep down, they're not confident either, So I will say to people, don't worry about having to be something you're not. Don't think that you have to be loud to be confident. You don't. You can be quiet and reserved and just the observer, and you can be confident. So it's for the person out there who's thinking, I need to be someone else to be confident.
Thank you, David. These were like quite amazing points in your book, and I highly recommend everyone who are watching these videos, go and right now buy it on Amazon. I think it's available on Amazon, right?
Yes.
Everywhere.
Yes.
So David, where can people follow you?
They can follow me on Instagram, David_Rahman, and they can come to the website, which is david-rahman.com. Yeah.
I'll put these links in the description and the comment section below. And I advise you to take a screenshot of this video and a book, and then tag David on Instagram, and he will be happy to see your post that you are reading his book. And trust me, it's an incredible book.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, David, for being on my show and taking out time.
Thank you, Rahim, for your time and your energy.
So be happy and enjoy the surprises of life.